are you sane?
Yay. Yes, for now.
No. Currently alive. And sane.
Andrei, would you like the link as well?
That's fine. You can send me the thing later. Like no one's looking for me live, you know.
We will upload it as a full-length video and cut it up into mercilessly cut it up into shorts later as well.
Really feeding the machine.
Put you
To make fun. You just need to put, you know how the YouTube works. You need to put like a surprise face on the
Thumbnail.
on the header.
Ah, yes.
Mr. Beast it up.
Alright guys, welcome to the live stream. I hope there's a lot of people from Tallinn watching us today. That would be amazing at least.
And outside of Thailand.
So around this table, strangers become
Optimus.
friends, stories become memories, and imagination becomes something that we share. If this feels like your kind of adventure, help us grow by liking the video and subscribing to the channel. And if you're in Tallinn, Estonia like us, there's always room for another adventure at our table, so find us at ttrpg.ee. Yeah. Well, there's the room we usually have reserved for extra players today is taken by a very long-running dungeon master, Andrei, an old friend.
Hello.
So a big welcome to him today. And as usual, we have Adrian, we have Rene, and we have Luis.
Hello.
With me as our full-time podcast team.
The ungood
Good
actors have joined us today.
Yes.
Andrei, tell us a bit about yourself. How long are you in the game?
Ooh, I'm slightly longer than Anton, because like the story goes, last stream Anton said the story that the first time he rolled dice was near Tallinn University, and I hosted the game, so I was the DM. So I was the DM of your DM. So I'm grandpa DM. But it was actually like my either first or second game. Also like I started like almost the same time as Anton.
When I told the story on the podcast, I remember how dick of a player I was in that game.
Oh no.
Like the first thing I did, it was my first TTRPG, you know, first time I tried it. So I immediately went into PvP.
It sounds like twins. Like, oh, I was a GM before.
Like, I tried to remember like what game we played. It was definitely not D&D. Like the first one we played, it was either Deadlands or Paranoia.
It was something in space. Something with robots in space.
Then it was Paranoia.
Alright.
So to get to the topic that we wanted to discuss today, I think, is like other TTRPGs. And so like for me and Anton, our first TTRPG was not D&D like as is. It was like an entirely different thing. But we also rolled 20-sided dice and like everything else was the same, but like the theme was different.
Something we wanted to ask you, Andrei, as someone who's super experienced with Call of Cthulhu, right?
Mhm.
We had a question from the audience the last time about creating, you know, bringing the horror element to the table. What's your take on this, and what best practices can DMs pick up from you?
Well, there's a thing that all modern TTRPGs do, right? Is this like they dedicate at least a couple of pages in every source book to what's called like session 0 safety rules, like the X cards. You know what I'm talking about, no?
No, not at
So
all.
like even in something light-hearted like D&D, you need to be aware that some players, especially like nowadays, have limitations. For example, like someone is afraid of spiders, someone doesn't want to discuss such and such topics, someone's afraid of like animal cruelty and whatnot, right? So in modern TTRPGs, they highlight it by telling the DM that you're supposed to be aware what the player's limitations are, right? So that is especially doubled in horror stuff. So before you invite players over to do like horror games or whatnots, you need to make sure that they are aware of what they are getting into, because you can. So that's like step one in creating a horror atmosphere, is just talking with your players and telling them that this particular game that we're gonna play is gonna be horror oriented. right? Or like scary or like uncomfortable, and that already creates like a little bit of a tension, you know. And if everyone's cool on that, then you can kind of move on, and you can start with like a serious tone, you know, because like if I'm thinking of D&D, right, and we're thinking of the latest D&D movie about the thieves of the whatnots, what's it called in the room?
Honor Amongst Thieves?
Honor Among Things. It's an excellent movie, an excellent comedy movie, you know. So a D&D for me, like if I'm thinking about it, yes, it's fantasy, but it's rarely a serious fantasy. It's more of a shenanigans and like tripping over and like rolling natural ones and whatnots, right? But with a horror game, you are kind of stepping out of the shoes of comedy a little bit, and yeah, you can come back to comedy at some point, like when there's like mishaps and whatnots, but the tone is a little bit like first-hand tone is a little bit more serious. You know what I'm saying?
How do you control it though? I mean, I know, Anthony, you're running Curse of Strahd. I've been at the table, still am at the table as a player where we're running Curse of Strahd. There's some pretty descriptive, bits of violence and horror in there. Like that's the general theme. But as you were saying before, or maybe it was you, Andre. Sorry, one of you was saying like D&D tends to be more lighthearted, so that there is this theme that should be pretty macabre and dark, but it ends up, actually not being taken so seriously, anyways. Even when we're talking about pretty severe things that nobody would want to live through, basically.
Well, I ran Curse of Strahd, and it's a little bit. It's intentionally gothic horror, you know. It's like romantic. It's a little bit of a it's horror-esque, but it's like dreamy and kind of misty, and like the vampires are slightly sexy, and it has this kind of not violent horror element, but more of a romanticized like 18th, 19th century kind of vibe to it. You know what I'm saying? And as with horror movies, like that's the easiest parallel. Like there are different kind of types of horror, you know? Like some of it can be something very like Shaun of the Dead, kind of a horror comedy. Some of it can be like this kind of Dracula style kind of romantic thing. And some of it can be like Cronenberg-y kind of body horror-y kind of horror stuff. And what I found is the most popular in recent years, like what's getting monies in the box offices, right? Like every modern horror is about mental stuff. So it's usually like a lot of the times the monsters and the creepy stuff goes in the background, and forward comes like the mental things, like.
So it's like the anticipation of horror that is scary, or is it horror based around like mental activity?
Mental
like
activity.
Paranormal stuff. And
I think it's more mental, and so that's what I started with. Is like the first step into horror is like talking to your players and getting them into the mindset, even if it's just like telling them this is gonna be a horror game. That's a good first step. It's just like try to in-tune yourself in this.
Have you ever had a player, surprise you or shock you with his or her fear that they don't want to bring to the desk, if I may ask?
Not that much, no. It's probably because I've not met that player yet, because like when I'm inviting people over, I'm stating what's the game going to be about, and they're kind of already agreeing on this. I'm not sprouting it on them like in surprise. It's like, surprise! It's gonna be like blood and guts everywhere. No, nothing like that.
What about the other way around though? Like you have someone at the table who just refuses basically to take it seriously and kind of
makes jokes and whatnot.
Yeah, undermines the tone for the entire session because oh look, a woman being eaten alive. Yeah. Look, I want to pet the little octopus face. Maybe not so explicitly, right? But just by not buying into it, basically, and just.
I can jump into that in a little bit unusual segue kind of thing. I was talking before the stream that I recently had a unusual sit-down tabletop experience with 6 12-year-old girls. So the idea was we got, like, my club thing got approached by a dad about our age. And he's like, I have a 12-year-old daughter, and I want to make a surprise for her birthday. And I'm thinking of, like, just renting a DM and just, like, make a game for the girls, and they don't know about it. So I offered him a few topics. I said, like, I can do, like, a fantasy game, like Lord of the Rings style. I can do, like, a mystery. I can do a magical kittens game. So, like, it's like cats with superpowers sort of thing that save the city. So, like, very, very lighthearted, like, children-oriented thing. And I can do like a horror thing. And he's like, oh, let's do horror. Nowadays kids are like that, they'll enjoy it. And I'm like, you're the dad, you know best, like, it's your daughter. So he kind of going back to, like, your question. So I kind of sprouted horror on little girls. But again, I'm a little more. I have experience in DMing, so I kind of I didn't do, like, any explicit stuff. I made boundaries kids-wise, so I wasn't, like, too graphic about anything. I wasn't, like, describing horrible stuff. I intentionally left out all of the gruesome things and tried to make it, like, as kids-oriented as they would push it, like the girls at the table. And they intentionally tried to make it comedy, you know? Mm-hmm. I was like, so here's I made characters and whatnots, and I'm like, here's your character, he's a priest, he's trying to save his daughter by stealing money from the rich. And she's like, no, she's a streamer, my character is a girl and she's a streamer. And I'm like...
In 1940s?
Yes. And I'm like, let's work with this. Let's work around it. She's an entertainer, and she performs in a jazz club. And she's like, yeah, okay. So so they were pushing, like, this kind of things, and I played along into their hands.
Met them at the middle, sort of.
Yes, absolutely, like, in their ballpark. So whatever they wanted, like, I kind of went along with this. And it was like a classical murder in a house sort of mystery. So, like, a rich man gets killed and you need to find out who's the killer. And, like, in the background there's Cthulhu doing Cthulhu things.
Eating brains.
Yeah. And they're like,
Yummy.
and, like, it went okay for, like, for a couple of hours. Like, I held their attention, but, like, at the mark of, like, 2 hours they kind of switched off. They were kind of inactive. They're like, okay, I don't care anymore, sort of thing. And I'm like, cool. You find a book and it has all the magic spells in the world, Necronomicon. And they're like, can I make her character poop her pants? And I'm like, yes, you can. Roll the dice. and they, like, for the last hour, they pulled the Necronomicon out of each other's hands and cast spells at each other, and it was hilarious. And it was, again, horror, yes, but at the same time, as light-hearted as the players wanted.
Right, but that kind of goes towards the point I was saying, where basically you can try as hard as you want, but if the table is trying to go somewhere else or not buying into the horror, even if you're DMing it, like, perfectly, like Hitchcock at the table, basically, it's
exactly. So again, it's very strongly dependent of the player's conceit, you know.
Which is why Session Zero is very important if you are trying to have a specific feel for a long campaign.
Yes, but Andrei, I think for this case, it was like a pro DMing gig, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got paid for it, so you don't really have time for a Session Zero here.
Yes.
You're offering a service, and you're just basically running a game for 4 people, and that's it. So did you feel like you managed to establish the right atmosphere at that table?
Right for them, yes. So like I knew that they were probably not gonna get into the horror bits, and I knew they just wanted to have an unusual evening, and that's what I provided.
Oh, cool. Cool, guys. Let's say hello to the people watching us as well. We have some demons online today. Our favorite Azravanakanaran, if I'm pronouncing it right.
I think when my kidneys stop.
We'll need to, but we'll banish the demons later. And we have Melmel. Hi, Melmel. Andrei, about your idea that horror is mostly psychological nowadays, Melmel says that's actually true. Psychological horrors have become more often of a thing. Yep, I agree.
So it's fun to have a character and NPCs that have like interesting issues going on for them, you know.
Cool. So Andrei, what else do you play? I know you play Mörkborg. That's a very punk game.
Yeah.
I think tell us more about it.
So when like I did like about 7 years of D&D. I got bored with it. And I was searching for something unusual, and I came up to this thing that are made by, I think, Norwegian guys.
Swedish, if I'm not mistaken. Yes.
Swedish guys, yeah. It's an old school revival RPG, or OSR, I think they call it nowadays, which is like simplified D&D, but with like a gloomy undertone, which I find interesting. And it's way easier rules-wise, so you can just jump in. It's basically D&D, but with less explaining.
It's more about the dungeoneering, right?
Not
the adventure, essentially.
Sure.
Not like the character drama, more about where you are.
I would say that's true. Yeah, it's like more straightforward in that regard. And they have like a lot of hacks, I think, like different offshoots of the main game. Anton has one of them called Pirate Borg.
Yeah, there should be a book about Pirate Borg.
So it's like
pirates. So yeah.
Yeah, it's like a simplified D&D with pirates.
I think I found it over here.
And one fun thing that I brought over today is like called Corp Borg. It's
Corp Borg.
Yes, Corporation Borg.
Okay, okay.
So the idea is that it's D&D, but you're in an office. So instead of weapons, you got staplers and like and printer cartridges.
I'll send you a mean email.
So, but sorry to interrupt you, but so the premise of Mörkborg is that the world is coming to an end.
Yeah.
Right. So like it's you have like 2 or 3 days before the big apocalypse. So what you gonna do?
Fight staplers, I guess.
Yeah, find staplers and whatever else toxic glues that you can find at the office to poison your colleagues. So it's like a PvP game.
No. You also act as a party, and your boss is a demon, and he's like, guys down at the IT are not doing sacrifices enough. Go downstairs to the level 666 and figure out why the sacrifices are not being made. So you're like in a corporation, but everyone's like a monster or a demon or whatnot, and you're kind of into it.
Is it a D20 game?
Yes. It's like it's same as D&D, but again, you as in Mörkborg, you only get 4 stats and like 2 or 3 skills, and your HP is limited to about 3 or 4. So it's like a one shot, one kill sort of situation. So you need to be extra careful.
That's how you create horror.
Office clerk HP.
Yeah, I think it's a fun kind of gimmick. And all of these Borg things, Pirate Borg, Mörkborg, Corborg, Cyborg, all of them have the same gimmick of everything's about to end in like 7 days, and like do with it what you will.
What does Borg stand for here?
Castle.
So like Mörkborg is like a grim castle.
But is it like an acronym, like BO role-playing game?
No, it's a word in Swedish.
Aha, okay.
Like
that makes
Göteborg.
Mm-hmm.
Second largest city in Sweden.
And I like the super simplified stuff. And I like that the players that are coming over they don't have to prepare a lot of stuff. You just roll like dice 2 or 3 times and you're good to go.
Can I ask you a question? Which one do you prefer running more? Board games or the Call of Cthulhu?
I'm into Call of Cthulhu nowadays. Because it allows for a more flexible one-shots, because I'm a little bit of exhausted of doing big campaigns. I started to do more one-shots. But nowadays, like I did a campaign of Morborg, which was okay. And nowadays I'm doing a campaign in Call of Cthulhu, but I only have 2 players, which is excellent for me. Like I love that amount. Because it allows for more development at the table. Like I don't have to switch attention that much, and the players themselves have more the time in the spotlight, and they don't have to wait in their turn.
We tried that recently. 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago?
For Mouse Ritter? Oh, for something
No.
else?
It was me, Andre, and Mr. Rene.
No.
No, he's talking about the one shot that you made,
Yes.
where Lewis and I were the players.
Oh, you made a one
the
shot, Rene.
improvised one shot.
No. It wasn't a one shot. It was more of a proof of concept.
3/4 shot.
It was a proof of concept one shot.
I
Yeah.
literally just told them like, you have this, and I don't know, roll a d20 every now and then, and now you're in this situation.
I don't know why you're being so humble about it not being a one shot. It was a perfectly run session, in my opinion.
It was a
really fun.
systemless one shot.
Fair enough. It had no basis. Just I played a video game, and I had a level there that I liked, and I was like, all right, you guys get to experience that.
Yeah.
And that's
it
it.
delights me to hear that you're running games.
We'll get to that once we today reach to the burnout section. So I have a bit of a story.
Yes, let's hope we can get there soon. Guys, if
Stay
you're
tuned for
watching
part
us,
3.
Stay tuned for part 3. No, actually, stay with us tonight. And if you have any questions for us, guys, we're here to answer them. We have a lot of experience around the table with different systems. So please put your questions in the comments and we'll do our best to answer them soon. Guys, so let's play like we are little thieves. Let's steal mechanics from other games to create our perfect game.
Ooh,
Oh, I did that.
Okay,
I can
so
give
what-
you 3 immediately.
Like, what mechanics would you steal from other games to bring to your tables?
Easy. From D&D 5th edition, inspirations. I like that. I dislike that people don't give them out as much, looking at you. And from Genesis, the initiative system. Everyone rolls the initiative, but whatever you get the roll, it's just the player's initiative. Everyone else just up to the players who goes when, if that makes sense.
It makes sense, yeah.
From Blades in the Dark, the flashback system. Essentially, if a player forgot something, they can just like flashback. Oh, I did this in the past, and now they have that.
I heard in some other games it's called a retrospective action.
For example, whatever you want
Retcon.
to call it, retcon. Yeah,
So, you know,
essential.
when we were standing by the river, I dumped a sack full of supplies in.
Yeah.
So now that we're more down the river, I just catch my sack. Okay. I see.
Yeah, because I heavily dislike when DMs go like, "Oh, you didn't tell it at the right time." Sucks to suck. God, that I peeves me so much. So yeah, those actions are great.
Speaking of granting inspiration to players, I also always forget to do it at the table. So I ask my players to kind of inspire themselves. So, you know, if another player spot that, hey, like this comrade of mine has made a cool, awesome action, he deserves an inspiration. I normally ask my players to kind of attract my attention to the fact that something awesome has occurred.
That's
Nice.
a really good idea, actually.
I just usually, when I try to give them out like freely, like, "Oh, that was cool. Here, have this." Just like a free little resource.
Yeah, but at the same time, if you give it out too much, then it's going to be losing its value a little bit.
Depends what you give.
Yeah,
So you
what is
you
cool
were
for you?
talking about giving inspiration. So I have a very good friend. It's actually the person who is running a Curse of Strahd, and the way he handles inspiration is you have a stack of poker chips, and when you want to affect some roll, you spend one of your poker chips or 2 or 3 to increase the amount, the number you rolled by that much amount, And then, whenever you do something at the table, like, oh, you rolled a crit, here, take 1 poker chip. Oh, you assisted your friend in disarming the trap, here, take 1 poker chip. And you build a stack slowly, piece by piece, and then, you get to use it in one important roll once, and then you expend most of your stack.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of the...
That kind of sounds like the luck from Call of Cthulhu.
I have no idea. It might be. So that was, since I'm talking already, so that was one thing that I've seen adapted into D&D that I liked. The other one, which Anton, you will see tomorrow, is saves have bounds. So if something has a negative effect, let's say that, for instance, you get fireballed and you get to make a dex save to half the damage. If you roll high enough, you actually get 0 damage instead, but you have to roll high enough. So that's one thing. I do not know other systems very well, but that's the one thing I like to use.
I would steal an awesome mechanic from Call of Cthulhu called a push.
Mm-hmm.
Is it? So let's say you roll an ability check and you fail.
Mhm.
So if you tell your dungeon master or your game master how do you approach the same situation in a different way, you get to re-roll even with advantage, if I'm not mistaken.
Just re-roll.
You just get to re-roll, right? So you get like another chance at a roll that you failed. But if you failed that push roll, the
Counts as a
situation
crit
closes
fail.
for you. Yeah, it
Consequences.
So I think that's an amazing piece of mechanics that can be used in many games.
Wait, sorry. What is the negative if you fail a second time?
It's a critical failure.
Yeah.
So like let's say you want to pick a lock on a chest, so you fail, right?
Mhm.
So then you say, so now I pick up my expert lock picks and try again.
Mhm.
So if you fail for the second time, the lock breaks and like you'll never get to unlock it again, something like that.
Okay, but if you in a normal scenario, right? If you just fail, then you would not be able to fidget with the lock again. Usually, at least that's how I've witnessed games.
It's situational based. Not you don't have to get stuck on the lock picking.
The way that I would
Yeah.
describe this is essentially, let's say that you're trying to shoot an arrow at an enemy, right?
Mhm.
And you don't quite have, like you have cover, they have cover, and you can't quite get a good angle. But then you can say, I tried to push my luck by like stepping onto the stone in front of me, therefore exposing myself, but
Right.
maybe getting a better angle. So
Mhm.
then you can either succeed or critically fail. Not only do you miss him, but you also get 2 arrows in the chest and fall backwards. So it's kind of like,
So you're betting on success
yeah,
the second time.
Essentially.
Gambling.
it's
which
very
is-
much gambling. I
as-
really like that.
As you GMs know, like critical stuff is always the most fun stuff.
Especially
Mhm.
critical fails.
Any other mechanics to steal?
I basically like the similar thing with the like I implemented my game called preparedness. Is like it's like a maybe like 1 in 5% chance, like 20% roll. But you get to like your player can propose a thing that happened before. So like what you call it, the City of Thieves, no, the
Blades in the Dark.
Blades in the Dark. That if a player like is in a dark closet and he's like, do I have a lighter? And I'm like, have you prepared the lighter? Roll this roll. And if the roll is success, yes, you have a lighter. You didn't forget it. And like, do I like? There's a guard at the door. I think I drank with that guard a week ago in a bar, and we became great friends. Roll preparedness. If it's success, yes. In hindsight, it happened. Sort of thing. It pushes player creativity and gives them a tool to insert themselves in the story themselves. So it's not just written by the DM, it's kind of also written by the players that are kind of inserting their own creativity into the story. But it's like you don't. It needs to be limited, you know. It has to be like a chance of success. It has to be like a resource that they can't always get. But in a reasonable amount, they could be having like an interesting ideas with the things that they don't actually have at hand.
That's why my player always carries a battering ram with them. Like, always. I mean, the dice say so, right?
Mel says, yeah, Blades in the Dark are mentioned.
Yeah, we play Blades in the Dark together. Usually I'm a very charismatic vocal guy and she's the fist. She punches.
Who ran the game for you?
I don't think you know this guy, but Alex maybe rings a bell. No? Fair enough. A guy named Alex.
Guy named DM Alex.
DM
We can
Alex.
even read
No,
it.
small guy.
In Estonia, there's like 2 of them, right? That's
Only 2.
Probably.
You know, this episode is making me feel a lot like I'm the only one here that is only DMing Dungeons and Dragons. So I think I need you guys to make some kind of one-shot at some point so I can try Genesis and Blades in the Dark. And I tried Cthulhu and it was awesome. I tried Mouse Ritter with you and it was awesome. And I mean, if we're talking about what we would take from a game system to add to our games, although this is not necessarily a mechanic, I really like the part of Mouse Ritter that was saying avoid rolls at all costs. But I'm kind of thinking of reversing that from a DM perspective to
Increase
think
rolls
about
at
the
all.
characters a little bit more and just give them something without asking for a roll. Like, okay, you're trying to do this acrobatics roll that normally I would ask for, like, say, a DC 10 or something, but you're a level 5 rogue.
I have a suggestion.
You probably can just do that without having to roll for
right.
it or
If the
something
DC
like
is
that.
low enough, then the roll is kind of just, something you do to hear the dice make noise.
Yeah, so I would just kind of be like, that's easy for you. Sure, you just do it. But then if another person tries it with tons of armor or half statue, then roll acrobatics.
What you said springs to mind an interesting thing from Morborg that maybe D&D players can find unusual. The DM doesn't roll at all. The DM doesn't have any dice. Everything is rolled by the players. So if a monster is attacking you, the players roll to dodge. If a monster damaged you, you roll how much he damaged you. So everything is up front. The DM doesn't even roll anything. He just tells you the story. And like these 4 stats are everything you need for the characters,
I actually did a session one time when I did exactly the opposite. When you would usually ask players like, hey, roll me perception or roll me insight, I would make the roll and then not tell the player anything if the roll was a failure. But if it was something, then I would kind of like message them on Discord or whatever channel, like, hey, you spotted a trap over there, or the guard, you feel like the guard is lying to you, then, there isn't this kind of, wait, why did the DM ask me to roll perception? Is there something around? But my character rolled a 7, so everything is fine? Or is there some trouble nearby?
That's also when you can do those, what are they called? Not stealth rolls, but like hidden rolls or whatever they're called, where it's essentially like you want to ask for a roll, but you ask the player like, hey, what's your perception modifier? +5, okay, and then you roll something behind the DM screen, and then you describe what they see, but they don't know if that was a natural 1 or a natural 20. That's just what their character notices.
Right, but even then you're already kind of pointing to perception, so it's even better if you make the roll. I'm just doing a bunch of rolls, you don't know why it's for. Maybe rocks are going to fall from the sky. Maybe you are going to step into a pile of sticks.
Look, Tiamat.
Another fun homebrew thing that you D&D DMs can try out is hidden death rolls.
Yes.
We're
I've
already
seen
doing
this one.
that, and it's
Yes.
it's quite nice. Rolling the death rolls behind the DM screen so that
Exactly.
nobody knows, like, is he gonna die the next turn? Is he not gonna? It brings a lot more intensity.
Juicy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've seen this one.
Horror.
Yes.
Yes, my party members have left me to die, even though we were rolled out in the open.
That saving throws is actually something that can be. You're talking about what you would steal from another game. Again, I don't know other systems so well. But one thing you can do is, you roll once instead of rolling 3 times, so you're not out of combat for like 3 rounds while other players are, they're doing their things, and you're just like, oh, it's my turn, roll. Okay, the table goes, oh, it's my turn, roll. That's one of the things I really don't like to do as a DM is like have mechanics that take away the players' either agency through some control spell that forces them to do stuff they don't want to do, or to take them out of the scene in some way. So I know it's hard to find balance there, but I've at least explored some potential alternatives, whether they were better or not.
There's a lot of homebrew rules for that. Yeah, like if you just Google it once, you'll find like at least 3 different ones.
There was something that I heard once. I don't know. It had the word glory in it. I don't remember the exact term, but
Don't Google it.
If you add a hole to it.
There's a hole in my memory right now. I don't know, but there was something, some form of saving throws that had like glory in them. It's like if you succeed,
Death or glory.
Yeah, death or glory.
It was death or glory, I think.
Yeah.
When you
You go down, but you keep fighting, but you're
Mhm.
still fighting through your death saves. If you get hit, -1 death save.
there were 2 or 3 different versions of it. I think one of
There's
it was
various.
a 50-50 chance, where instead of doing the saving throws, you just roll something, and there's a 50-50 chance. You either die if it's under like 10 or lower,
Right.
or 11 or higher. You get straight up with 1 hit point, and next turn you have your chance to fight or whatever.
Yeah, I
and
think
then
that
there
was slightly better than just being down.
But
sorry.
that should be a player choice, though, I think.
Oh yeah.
And
If we're coming, like you made a great point. I absolutely agree that the player missing their turn is a down.
It's a
Step.
negative.
But it can be solvable. You just kind of you assign the missing out player something. For example, like they can be the environment. Like they can propose a like, oh, and now there's a locust, like swarm of locusts come into the room or something like that. Or they can be the enemy. So like they decide what the goblins are doing while he's on the floor. So like just like give him like something to do, maybe something like that.
or you can also do, if it's specifically if it's a giant fight or something like a boss fight, you can do kind of like flashbacks, death flashes in front of your eyes. You know, like on your turn you roll for the death save, and then either the player says what they
Exposition.
see or the DM says something. But that's not something I would do
Or-
every time, though.
Yeah, or like to your point, like for example, it's a boss fight and your fighter is down, and on your turn you say like, remember me fighter and you cleric, once in a bar we were like just drinking so much and they were dames and whatnot, and like this inspires you for like 1d6, so you're kind of coming up with like a remember how we struggled, to kind of give them sort of a bardic inspiration sort of thing, and you
Also-
kind of can throw it around the table, so with you and then with you kind of thing.
So it's kind of like, as your character is down, you describe what the other person is remembering
Yeah.
about your character that is inspiring them
Yeah,
to push. I like
exactly.
that, actually.
That
I might
something like
use
that,
that.
you know, it's just like make a gimmick for the downed player.
Guys, to those watching online, we're changing the topic soon. If you have any questions, just let us know. We're here. We are hungry for your comments.
And Anton is tired of
Homebrew.
listening to us talking
No,
about
no,
homebrew.
no, not at all. I'm just looking at the clock, and because you guys keep pushing me about bringing up DM burnout, right? So I'm saving
it's
time.
funny at this
I'm
point.
saving time for us to speak about
Well-
that as well.
well-
Guys, maybe let's talk about managing players at the table.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the easiest type of player for you guys to manage as a dungeon master, and what's the hardest type of player? Not necessarily the best player and the worst player, right? But the players that you can manage the easiest at the table, and the ones that are the hardest for you. Adrian, what about you?
This is a pretty hard question because more of anything is harder to manage but better for the table usually. I've had players that are very meticulous about their notes, but then they miss parts of the session because of that. But also those notes are useful afterwards. I've had players that are very into the roleplay aspect of the game, which is very beautiful, but then they lose some other aspects, or some that are focused on combats and lose the roleplay aspect, or some that are going to not pay attention at all, which that doesn't really have that much of an upside if I think about it. But I would say as long as each player is actually present and paying attention and trying to have fun and trying to make sure that everyone else is having fun as well, then, you know, that player is going to have fun and help everyone else have fun as well. But if a player is a little bit more self-centered or not aligned with the rest of the group, that can cause problems. And the issue with this is that it really depends on the group.
Mhm.
Because you were talking before about horror and comedy, right?
Mhm.
If the whole table is trying to deal with a horror scenario and taking it seriously, and one player is making fun of everything, they're going to ruin it for everyone and themselves probably. But on the flip side, it's exactly the same thing. If everyone is trying to make comedy and then one of the players is really taking it serious,
Mhm.
same thing happens.
Mhm.
So I guess it's not really about one player, it's about how each of the player fits in the group and how aligned they are.
Okie dokie.
Yeah, good take.
Rene, what about you?
Honestly, I agree with pretty much everything he said. I can only comment on the hardest person to handle was for me when my friend got very intoxicated
Oh yeah.
and essentially was just doing random nonsense for lol kek. Like, haha,
Mm.
it is funny. No, it's only funny for you because you're smashed. But oh well.
I saw in YouTube Shorts, I saw a short video with Matthew Mercer about him wording out his 2-drink rule
Mhm.
at the table, meaning that
Mm.
yes, you can come with an alcoholic drink, but no more than 2 at my table. I
Mm.
think that's a good
Yeah.
good way to
The-
establish borders.
I should have done that too, but we had a minimum of 0.5 liters of vodka. No wonder that player did not pay attention.
Plus, there's also the pre-game, right? You can bring 2 drinks to the table, but
Oh yeah, free game. Oh boy.
Also, it's like 2 drinks of what kind? Because 2 beers and 2 bottles of vodka are completely different animals.
Oh yeah. I've been the player who got a little intoxicated. My friend made his own homebrewed beer, but it was a little more stronger than you expected. And like next session, we're like, all right, we should be here. I'm like, yeah, I took some notes. We're like there. And everyone else like, dude, no, we went way past. That was like the half point of the session. I'm like, I don't remember the rest of the session.
I somehow managed to always get shit-faced when it's the end of a big campaign. Like when it's the end of Curse of Strahd and it's time to fight Strahd, a bottle of something hard comes to the table and I drink a lot of it. And once, when I was wrapping up the Curse of Strahd campaign, the players killed the vampire in his crypts,
Mhm.
right? So then it was so much fun that I fell like face down on the table.
there.
Like that was like totally wasted. Thank God it wasn't a pro game, but I haven't really drank at the table since then, so I learned my lesson. Guys, Mel is asking us, but what do you do if a person or people aren't taking the game seriously? For example, horror setting. I think we've briefly talked about it. I would go Mel with the flow of the current table.
Mhm.
Like, you know, if the people who are currently sitting at the table with you want to have this or that type of game, let's do it.
Yeah.
You know, but will we play another time? Maybe.
Mhm.
Yeah, possibly.
Also, if we're talking about one specific player, if, for example, we're going to take the example of a longer campaign, right? Because it's not the same thing for one shot or anything like that. But if you have a problem player after everyone has already agreed on what the feel of the campaign is, and you're maybe 2 sessions in out of 10, and everyone else is otherwise invested in the campaign, then I would probably try to have a talk with that one player,
Mhm.
one-on-one, separate from the session or anything like that, maybe over Discord, maybe whatever, just to kind of like bring it up, like, you know, hey, we're trying to do this thing that we agreed upon, and, you know, what can I do to make it work for you as well?
Mhm.
But then if it's still not going to work after 1 or 2 more sessions afterwards, it's probably time to, you know, find another player.
You are being very patient.
I also do not know how to deal with that myself, because I'm the type of person that is like trying to bend everything to please everyone. And even if I do have a problem player at the table, I'm like, I can probably make it work. And then a lot of times that does kind of like corrode a little bit at everything until hopefully it works.
I know that feeling.
So yeah, that's the complicated bit about this topic is it asks from the DM to be like a moderator in a different aspect, you know. And for me, like the most complicated player that I have played around with. Yeah, like you brought a great point about like drunk people. Yes, that's super hard sometimes. And again, like they're trying to enjoy themselves, but like they're not feeling the vibe or something. Yeah, the drunk players are quite complicated. But the hardest player that I've played with was antagonistic. So he, for some reason, so it was D&D, and he came in like to a party, and he's like, "Oh, you guys are all good guys trying to save the world, right? But I'm secretly evil." And he played against the current of the group, and that quickly turned sour. So he's in character. He started to what's the right word? Like molest other players. And he's like, "What? It's what? It's in character. It's not me personally. Like it's just my character. He's like that."
do.
And it was like a nightmare. So we
Oof.
had to kind of
That sounds awful.
yeah, like you said, like I approached him and says like, "This is not the table we're going for. Like, can you switch out your attitude?" And he's like, no, I'm like that." And then I'm like, "Then I'm sorry, we just kind of we're not gonna play with you anymore." And it was unfortunate and whatnot, but sometimes like hard decisions like that should be made. Hopefully he found like a group that's suited more for him.
Where he can be evil.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad thing for an evil campaign, you know. It can be played, but rarely I found like a bunch of people who are into these kind of let's murder everyone and like be the evil overlord sort of thing in a serious fashion, not like in a comedic kind of goofy way.
Sol is saying players' goals should loosely align. I agree.
Loosely,
Yeah, of
yes,
course.
yes, absolutely. At least everyone needs to understand what tone the general direction is at.
Andrei, but who's your favorite kind of player?
I like note takers. I like the people who maybe because I'm running like investigative detective games. Like I like people who are kind of taking intensive notes and are like, "Oh, so 2 sessions back, the date aligns with the paper I found today. Oh my god!" And these revelations are like very, very pleasant. And one other type of player I really enjoy is who kind of DM themselves. You know what I mean? So like they are taking the lead in the storytelling, and they're like, "Oh, besides my intervention, they're like, I want to approach that character and take him aside, buy him a pint of ale, and I'm gonna say, Cedric the Brave, why are you brave? What happened to you?" And they start kind of an interaction with themselves without the involvement of DDM. Like I love those moments. And sometimes they can spend like 30 minutes of just like playing a scene amongst themselves, and I'm just sitting back and enjoying the show. You know?
Cool.
I think we skipped Lewis.
Louis,
It's
what
fine.
about
Louis picks enough.
Who's your like for you as a DM? Who do you think is an easy player to manage, and who's a difficult player to manage?
Difficult is actually exactly what Andrei was mentioning before. I had the same situation with a player who just likes to fafo basically, and
What story? What that like what?
we have children watching. I'll explain what the acronym means later.
Please do. All right.
Mess
Right.
around.
Yes, mess around and figure out. Anyways, the thing is, I don't mind players who go against the flow of the campaign, but I do like I have very strong red lines about PvP, and PvP doesn't mean that you're trying to. I've had players actually who want like, "Hey, can I roll to convince? Can my character roll to convince that other player's character?" And I just mentioned how I hate taking players' agency away from them. So that one is like no, dude, I'm not gonna let you take away that player's agency if they don't want to do it. But not even that. What I meant here is not so such strict PvP, but rather, let's say that the heroes were tasked with finding a gem and bringing it back. And this guy sneaks the gem and tosses it into the sea or something on the boat trip back to the kingdom or the fort or whatever it is. For me, this is just it's possibly the worst thing that can happen at the table. For me, this is worse than someone being aggressive about rules or something that happened. Like, I've had players say like, oh, that is totally unfair, like we would have never found this trap, like you hit it too much and it's totally unfair that we're taking this damage. Or well, what do you mean he's not dead yet? I just dealt 32 damage to this guy. How is he still alive? This is not possible. I've had those situations, and compared to disturbing the objectives of other players, I think disturbing other players takes priority here. So I agree with you 100% on that. My easiest player, so 3 of you should cover your ears now, it's René.
Hello.
I've DM'd for him and I've played with him as a player at the table, and I think we were like, whatever happens, like our characters will be brothers, basically. This is the feeling I get, at least from him. Like, we always have some we always end up having some bond at
I try to have friendly interactions with everyone.
Yeah. Of course, I've played with Adrian many times, and I also really enjoy playing with Adrian. It's just someone has to be number 1, and another one can be number 1.0001 right behind him.
Don't worry, I have to agree with you, because ever since the first time that I played with René, and then the second time when he played a completely different character, and then I just noticed that that's the way that he as a player plays, he kind of became the standard by which I measure how players work. Right. You know, it's like okay, how close to his level is this person? Yeah, you do have not to overcompliment you right now, but
yeah, I'm getting glazed here. Pretty
but just
starting to blush a little.
Just so the people at home understand. So I think that at least my characters vibe well with René's characters. René always comes up with a higher concept for his character, always makes voice accent.
You like to do the voice.
Usually the same voice.
It does the wall back, and I'm struggling.
And it makes it feel like the character is very alive, and it always has some interesting mechanic about it that's kind of unique every time, and it's very interesting to play with him. I also I was talking about the session where René was DMing and I was playing with Adrian. It was also full pleasure to play with Adrian in that campaign. I think we also had our brotherhood going on that one. But yeah, so basically the player that is living their character is the player that I enjoy the most.
Kind of living their character and trying to work with the rest of the group as much as possible.
Yeah, of course. But I mean, by mentioning what the worst player is or the most problematic one is, that's
funny
already.
Because recently in a campaign I'm in, I took one of the other players' lover and I executed him Resident Evil Requiem style with the zombies.
I don't know about that.
I take back everything I said. René and I are now
our party tension, because the Warhammer Genesis thing has a party tension built in. It goes for us. It goes from 0 to 8. We were on a 4, and I think I alone increased it by 2 that day.
Guys, so in the chat we have a René fan club building up.
God,
people are happy René's superiority is mentioned, and people also think he's a sweetheart as he's being glazed.
That's probably Milmil.
It is.
Milmil's biased.
It is. For me, I think the easiest player to manage at the table is the role player. right? The one who understands his character, who enjoys interaction with different players. And as Andrei mentioned earlier, it's the player that allows the dungeon master to sit back and watch the show. I really love that part. So when I think of a game, I think that I will need to work for 4 hours, right? But when I think of a game with role players, it's mostly me like listening to them and poking, like sprinkling some story, here and there, which is an amazing time for them and an amazing time for me. So that's why a role player is my favorite.
I think we might have also skipped your worst player to manage.
Coming up, that one's coming
I wanted
up.
to quickly add something on what you said right
Please.
now. I had the pleasure recently of starting a new campaign with 6 players, which was, it was supposed to be 7 and now it's 6, so a little bit better over there. But I was really worried because of exactly this whole thing that, is going to be 3-4 hours, maybe 5 hours with so many players of just me having to put a lot of effort into it. And session 2, I'm not kidding, all 6 of the players did exactly the same thing that every single one of you said is the green flag essentially. For maybe an hour and a half at the end of the session, I was not part of the game anymore. They had a battle royale in a sand pit, and not between them, but between them and some NPCs. I was just rolling for the NPCs and that's it. They were just saying the story constantly. And that was the first time that I have ever experienced just like hands-free DMing essentially.
So now players know what we like.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah.
Yes, but probably the most difficult player for me to manage is the one who doesn't trust me as the dungeon master. Like, listen, if people come play at my table, they should trust me with my experience as a dungeon master. Like, let me entertain you, right? If you come to my table with like skepticism, and you want to argue with me about how I run my games each session, that pisses me off. So I had situations where I had to tell players that, I'm not enjoying the campaign anymore because of how much like needless arguments and discussion. Misha keeps showing me a strange sign with his hands. He must mean that I need to be closer. I need to be closer to the microphone, but it looks like something else, Misha. I gotta tell you. So if there isn't trust, kind of a rapport built between me and the player becomes difficult for me to manage.
Can you give us a small example?
A person constantly rules lawyering.
Why are you looking at me?
I'm actually looking at Andrei. And it doesn't. It's absolutely nothing personal. So a lot of rules lawyering and a lot of objecting. Like, let's say I narrate a scene and the player goes like, "I object."
Really?
Yeah.
Like that straight?
Yeah.
Wow.
So I'm like, okay, like, what's your point? So he gives me his take, which might be fair, but also might not be fair. So if he demands it, I will give it to him, but a limited amount of times. My patience will run out fast.
It wasn't the wedding scene that he objected to.
Oh,
okay,
no,
that is not
not
okay.
at all, not at all. Yeah, so that's the. What do we have here in the chat room? No, nothing. Guys, we are hungry for your questions. Please send more. What else do we have today?
We have
The
the burnout.
The DM burnout. I'm not sure how to talk about this topic, but let's give it a try. So, Andrei, you're in the game for like 10 years.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
What has made this, as a marathon for you, not as a sprint? Like, what's your secret? How are you in the game for so long?
Maybe I'm misunderstanding the exact wording of the burnout thing. But I'll tell you guys about my experience, why I sometimes stop running games for a long while, and the most thing that gets to me if I am preparing a big campaign that I am planning for like a couple of months to run, sort of thing, and at some point I can clearly see that the players cannot be gathered Like it's either like I'm busy with this, I'm busy with that, I can't run this, I can't run that, and after several months of attempts to put together like a time, it's still not going together. And I've actually had like 4 or 5 times that like a big campaign like that didn't run with a lot of work put into it. It really gets me down. Like I it's very complicated for me to pick it up again and like put it together. That's why I transitioned to one shots, and then I transitioned to play to even with the longer format. I try to not do campaigns longer than 3 or 4 sessions. Like my current one is like probably the longest one I've been running in a long while now. But it's again because there's only 2 players and it's easier to put their schedules together, which is like a big problem for generally adult players. Is that like it's understandable? It's like the reasons why people can't get together is very reasonable. So kid problems, like something at work, like a scheduling issue, and when you're students or when you're like in school, then you have plenty of free time. As is like with video games, like you can spend all your free time just like playing, grinding, like in an MMO.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're adult, you have responsibilities, you're expected everywhere, and you need to find 3 or 4 hours each week for this hobby of yours. That gets complicated, and it's very unfortunate.
So it's the scheduling, adult
Mhm.
scheduling that gets you down.
For me, yeah, that's...
Yes, I know that can be complex. All of the
Then, in my opinion, you should not raise your hand when someone says like, "Hey, is anyone interested?" If you already know that you might not have the capacity to, people are insufficiently interested in this.
No, we're good.
And then I've had this discussion with Anton already before, where Anton was, I was asking Anton, "Hey, Anton, what's the best thing I can do for the community?" And Anton was like, "Run a game, like just get people on the table, like grow the attention, grow the." And I have tried several times to schedule something, and people initially come like, "Oh, I'm interested. All right, when do you have some time?" "Well, December 2028. And
There's interest but no action.
right after a few weeks of trying to schedule something, then I just okay, whatever. People are not sufficiently committed to this. I feel I'm talking about this because this is part of my burnout, let's say. I spent a lot of time creating the setting, the characters, thinking about the story and so on, and the elements. And all I'm asking is for someone to find some, like you said, 3-4 hours to just show up. Like I spent 80, 120, whatever amount of hours working on this. I'm asking for 4 hours of your time. It's free. I'm not asking for anything monetary. I'm not asking for you to bring food or anything. Just be present, be respectful to other players, of course, and know your character. That's all I'm asking. I think it's not much to ask, and it's still too much to ask apparently.
Sometimes, yeah,
because people still don't do it. So that's one of the 2 things that sometimes makes me, go back into my cave and close the D&D door like we're closed for business. The other one is what we discussed before, like having some sort of player at the table where it doesn't matter what you do, they will always be dissatisfied with something. Like this was unfair, this didn't make sense. The bosses, the enemies were too spongy or tanky or whatever. There was not enough combat, there was not enough role playing. So just no matter what you do, basically players seem to be unhappy with the work you did. And I think it's human to just okay, well then why am I putting the effort, right? And then you just and then I just go and hibernate for a few months until the spark comes again, and I feel the motivation to run again. So it's not so much I'm exhausted from this, it's more like, okay, emotionally I'm kind of drained right now and I need a break.
Which is probably the burnout we're talking about, right?
More or less.
For me, it has like, since I started running games, I have immediately felt like in TTRPGs, the pressure is disproportionately put on the dungeon master's shoulders, right? You just, as a DM, you always need, for me, for my dogma is that if you're a player, you come to the table for entertainment, right? Bread and circuses. But if you're a dungeon master, you are working. You're actually putting in the work. You're putting in the hours to prepare. You're putting in the hours to passionately run the game and to entertain the table, right? This is work. So for those who like give a lot, I think it's also important that you take care of yourself, and that you find a different source of energy to bring the power back into where you're giving, right? I don't know. For example, you like running games, but like it's really tiring, right? So you go to the gym. You lift some weights, you feel better, you feel the energy. You're like, okay, I'm now gonna bring this energy to this table to run awesome games. Like, so, finding a, maybe in, like, as a dungeon master, I feel I'm sometimes giving more than I'm receiving. So then I will find an alternative source of energy for myself to kind of replenish the power that I lose at the table from there. For me, it's healthcare, right? It's like helping patients. So every time I medically treat a person, I feel like I can, transmutate this power into my passion at the table as a dungeon master. So that's my take. What do you think?
Go first. I'll probably be yapping on this topic for a while.
I was actually thinking about what we discussed a while ago, Anton. We had this DM, what was it? Kind of like a round table, but it was just like, DM workshop. Actually, both of you. And you brought this idea of balance, of give and take. And you actually mentioned that as a DM, you give a lot, and if you give too much in comparison to how much you gain back, then that's going to cause burnout. So either you need to speak to the players in some way so that some pressure can be taken off of your shoulders, or, depends on what kind of energy you get back from them. Because, for example, there's a big difference between prepping 4, 8, 10 hours for a session, and then the players don't engage with it as much. Maybe you painted a miniature for a few hours. Maybe you went through 5 different types of puzzles until you said, okay, this is the one that they're going to enjoy, and they're just not engaged with it. And it happens once, and it happens twice, and it happens 3 times, and then you lose focus because you don't get any feedback. But whenever you do get feedback from them, whenever you bring a miniature to the table and they instantly start complimenting it, whenever you make a puzzle and they try to find different ways around that puzzle, whenever they ask questions about about the session, about the world, about the campaign, about anything after the session has ended, whenever you have conversations about the game, in particular, that kind of replenishes you as well. So it's, yes, you do have to make sure that you take care of yourself and that you replenish yourself, but actually this is a very good point for the players as well, that you as a player can give some of that energy back to the dungeon master, either by complimenting or something, or taking some of the work off of their shoulders. Like you were saying that you really like note takers. Why? Because that's one less thing you have to worry about, and you can just enjoy being immersed in the world and creating the world, and not having to think about it like, okay, I have to remember this for the next session because in 1 or 2 weeks or whatever I'm going to forget it, and then you have to take a break from actually having fun. So
players, do it.
Do your homework.
What is Falcon's name, Adrian?
You probably know it.
I do.
every time I play D&D, every morning I wake up and it's game day, I feel very anxious. Like no matter how many games I run, I wake up and I know it's D&D day and I wake up with anxiety. Like I need to clean, I need to take care of my family, I need to clean my place. I then need to invite people over so that they have a great time for 4 hours. And then I need to clean the place up. So
Wait,
the
so you
whole
go to
thing,
sleep?
the whole thing, I'm usually very excited about the game coming up, but when I wake up in the morning, I'm like, shit, I don't want this game today. So like I fight my anxiety every time it's D&D day so that people have a great time.
Yeah,
I mean that's
sure.
probably a sign of a burnout.
Yeah, that's a good point, and like of why it's complicated to run D&D at your place by Royal U. What I mean is like that's why for the place where I'm at, like the club that I'm running games at, it's an outside of my home sort of situation where everything is prepared for me. Like there's a table, there's dice, there's a map, sort of thing. There's chairs and beverages, and this takes a lot of this anxiety that you're describing away. From what I've heard from performance in general, performers in general, is that even the professional musicians always have this kind of anxiety before the gig. And once you're on stage, once you're DMing, once you're into it, then this anxiety goes away.
It's immediately gone. Yeah, I noticed that too. Yeah. Guys, Soul is saying the worst part of running campaigns is when group become too friendly so that the pre-game chat goes longer and longer.
Yeah.
That's great. I think it's a sweet part when you make friends with strangers.
I know exactly what he's referring to. It's our game. We say we start at 2, we start at 3. We just keep chatting about
that's not too bad actually. Just 1 hour.
It's
for
gotten worse, but we've just literally had to schedule like hangouts just to get it out of our system before the game.
No,
Right.
that's a good table.
It's a green flag.
Yeah, that's literally the one where I just said I executed a person. That's why they're okay with it.
It balances out.
Yeah.
A fun fact about campaigns that was, I think, officially announced by the Wizards of the Coast is that in accordance to their statistics, like 8 out of 10 campaigns never come to an end. Like for some reason, I always the new players I meet always want to play a campaign. Like they're like, oh, I want to get into D&D, let's play a campaign. I'm like, no, let's play a bunch of one-shots, dude. Come on.
Yes.
Like, are you sure you can take a campaign? Because for adults, a campaign of 10 episodes that you play, if you're lucky that you play like twice a month, if you're unlucky less than once a month, so a 10 session campaign might take a year to complete. In an adult's life nowadays, like a lot of
that's
shit can
normal.
change in a year, isn't it? Right. So and would you still have the motivation to play the game that you have right now after a year has passes? I'm not sure. So I'm voting for more one shots and less campaigns.
But I like both, so. But I see your point completely.
On that point, yeah, like it's a thing that I've been doing with transitioning from one shots to more of a campaign is that for the group I say there's a campaign in 4 parts. Let's play part 1. So it's like a finished little story. If you're still into it, if you're still together at the table, we can transition the same characters to part 2 and do like find like a stopping point that's like a good campaign in of itself, instead of just like doing a long year worth. Just let's say let's do it for a couple of months, and I have a good stopping point for you guys. If you're still into it, let's talk after that.
René, it's time for your burnout story. Tell us. Should I bring some napkins?
No tears.
Popcorn?
Go
No tears involved.
Go ahead.
I have been burned out twice in my life. Second one is I want to say now 6-year running. Started 2020. But the first one occurred because of, it was literally my second session in my life where I DM'd. 2 of my friends, I mentioned at the start, like session 0 kinda, like, hey, we're gonna do a cyberpunk thing. Not cyberpunk red, but just our own mishmash of whatever, but it's cyberpunk related. Turns out one of my friends is not into cyberpunk at all. And he didn't mention that before I put in, like, I don't know, 15 hours of work. And during game day, it was like, all right, guys, we're gonna play now. We played for like 2 hours. One friend, really into it, was just swinging his axe around, just doing all kinds of nonsense. The other friend was pretty much asleep. Sleep on the couch, like, oh, my turn.
And how did you feel about that?
I stopped DMing for a good while.
Oh.
I was really, as the Russians say, zaybald.
What?
Second time occurred also in a funky story. Same 2 players plus 1 more. Friend of mine was hosting, but he also had a friend moving over because he like broke up with his girlfriend or something. So while we were playing, he was like doing chores at the same time, and he kept calling one of my friends over, like, "Hey, clean up this." Bro, we're having a session. Fuck off. Sorry for the little ones. And the other one was just like, okay, time for a smoke break, and just walked off. I was like already like pretty frustrated, and the third player was getting also angry at her rolls and just threw the dice around. I was like, I am not doing this anymore. And after that, I have not DM'd for eons, except for the few sessions I've done now in June and the little one-shot I did with Lewis and...
He admitted it.
Yes, we'll call it a one-shot.
Yes.
Rene, what would inspire you to run more games?
Funny story, a lot of successful games we do have actually inspired me to think about these things. Like literally after Mouse Ritter, I woke up this week at like 5 o'clock one morning, sat down because I couldn't fall asleep, and I wrote out a session. Now it's just a matter of posting into the Discord group and actually running it. But I've been meaning to post that post for like the past 4 days, but just can't get into it. Especially I'm on vacation, so it shouldn't be difficult, but it's like, I don't care, like, to write it. I don't know, it's weird. I have like 6 campaigns in my head right now, not campaigns, but like one-shots ready to go.
Rene, can I ask you a question in that regard? For the DMing, it's a burnout, but for you as a player, do you still play?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I enjoy playing because I get to act, essentially. I am the role player.
So does that
it has helped if you're gonna
role of being a player get you more into being a DM?
Yes, in a way, because it makes me think. I'm like starting to also think like, oh, think of these cool stories I could tell. But like, there's like some kind of mental blockage. Like I know when I DM, I have this perfectionist mindset, and only with D&D. I don't know where does it come from. But I like put unnecessary amount of hours into it, like prepping, and it just doesn't go the way I want. So I'm like, I don't like this. Like the June thing that I had was literally all combat in Genesis. I should have skipped one fight, definitely, for the sake of time, and shortened like at least 2 excessively. So we could have like managed in 4 hours, but we did it in 6, and at the end it was just like, get it over with. And it kind of didn't help, or like it didn't cure the burnout. It didn't really make it worse. It left me indifferent completely.
Rene, Saul wants to give you a piece of his wisdom. He says, get better players. And he also says, as a GM, I recommend cherry-picking players that you know would fit. I partially
Yes.
agree with that.
It depends on the theme.
If you have a selection.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, at least it's useful for the beginning to kind of like get you rolling until you find yourself some kind of traction, and then you can start exploring other options.
I would say it's kind of bold to assume that you can actually cherry pick your players.
You can. But should you? It's a different question.
He definitely managed. I know exactly who he picked.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, right? Okay, we're trying to think about it in an ethical position. Is it ethical or unethical to cherry pick? But at the same time, the Dungeon Master is not there as a employee. The Dungeon Master is there as a player as well, just a different role of a player. You as a Dungeon Master are going to the table to have fun. So if you don't have fun with just anyone, then yes, please do pick your players and make sure that you do have a table where you can also have fun.
Right,
Because that's where you're there.
unethical to cherry pick. I mean, you hang around, hang out with the people that you like, right? Not,
Exactly.
So
And if you're playing a campaign, you're gonna be meeting these people for like a year or so, right? So
Exactly,
if you have someone at your table who you're not clicking with, I also don't think it's of any worth to keep.
Well,
tracking.
that's the disadvantage of the format that I'm in, because like I'm doing a paid DMing kind of gig. So so I don't get to choose players. So if people kind of hire me, then I'm picked, you know. And if they're paying, then I'm entertaining them. But if it's for your friends, if it's for like your group, then you definitely can say, I want to play games with my friends, and I like my friends. Like I'm picking them, you know, sort of thing. But if it's like the disadvantage of my position is that I'm playing with whoever wants to play with me.
But Andrei, would you say no to a customer?
I probably wouldn't know. But again, like if it's the case where we're not suited for each other in that topic that we discussed, that the players is just not good for the group, then I can like kind of approach this problem. But generally, like I would say yes to everyone.
Yes, and
I'm going to make an assertion, and you correct me if I'm wrong here. Because you are hired to perform, let's say, for a group, at least the group already kind of knows each other, and there is some synergy within the group, whether that synergy is positive or not. At least, you know, the group is not for strangers that never seen each other.
No, it's often that.
It's often
like
that?
Yeah, it's just
Yes.
like I announce a game, and like whoever wants to jump in, they jump in, and then not necessarily know each other.
So
Okay,
yeah,
so
Andrei is
it's
a part
not,
of a club where people join via a web page, right? So they're not necessarily friends. They can be four strangers who
Okay,
come to
exactly.
play for money. Yeah.
I thought it would be because you described the situation with a father that was hiring you for the birthday.
It sometimes happens like that. Yes, it's sometimes a gig like that, and sometimes it's just like random people, and mostly it's random people.
All right.
I
stand
do
corrected.
have a question for the two pro DMs over here. There's a hot take that I keep seeing online that between home games and paid games, there's a lot more interest by default in paid games from the players because of the fact that they kind of make the commitment financially as well. So it's like they go in with the expectation that okay, I paid for this, so
I wouldn't say 100%, but yes, and like I have a good example of this. At our place, we sometimes do an introductory gig. So like for new players, unexperienced, just come in, play, sign up, and we'll do a one shot for you, sort of thing. So like we kind of luring people in that regard. And
to the dark side.
I've had 3 games like that where we wanted people to sign up and come in and play games, and we had people sign up, like 5, 7 people, 6 people, sort of situation, and on the date, no one showed up. 3 times that happened like that. So people sign up and don't come in. And to solve that, we came up with just like a €4 or like €3 price. So when people put down the money, like even if it's like a neglectable, like marginal
like
amount,
token,
then they are in their mind committed to come in, sort of thing.
Yes, I also noticed that scheduling is easier with the paid groups because players are motivated to vote and like they want to play.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
and it's not even about the money, it's just like gets them in the space to I need to commit to this.
Yep.
So it's like the ability was there, but you need to physically
Incentivize.
Yeah, essentially.
Some extra like motivation or push is needed here.
And it was very sad, like when I show up and expecting to spend 3 hours here, and like 0 people show up. That was like, ugh.
Yeah.
For me, what helped my burnout back in the days is turning to pro DMing. So kind of starting DMing as a service. It has been an amazing journey for me so far, and I'm still in the game, right? So didn't let none of the burnout get to my head, but instead kind of returned to the game fresh as a pro, and yes, it really worked out for me.
I think for me, getting out of burnout is probably gonna have to be the little Mouse Ritter campaign I have.
Oh yes, yes.
I'm gonna essentially improvise your keep on the Borderlands kind of type thing, and essentially post dates, and whoever comes. Let's see if I can ever get to posting that. Haha.
We have some questions on the line. Let me just check that.
Sure.
Mel is asking, what about question about player management? We're asked, what about players that become too ooga booga, one brain cell moments?
Well, I'm being called out
I
here.
love them.
Well, first of all, at the table you have many players. So if each one has one brain cell, that you at least have four. You have like 3 or 4 brain cells collectively at least.
Hey, sometimes 6.
I think what she means by this question is I have a story about myself, a whimsical moment. In the same Souls game, I play as a spy who's generally meant to be like an intelligent fellow. Like, I have to manage 4 personalities and everything. But there was one guest character who showed up who essentially was a dwarf. And I had a funny click with him that we essentially both degraded our intelligence. And we were like, let's swing rocks around and shoot blunderbusses or something silly. But essentially, he had a silly idea and I kind of fed into it and also absorbed that silliness. And just intelligence went out the window. Like, how do you handle that, I suppose?
Another question.
Okay, or ignore it.
A lot of questions here. Was there anything that you have done in the past that now makes you either cringe or laugh?
Yes.
What is it? What was it, Luis? Tell us.
Well, when I was playing in the beginning, I used to be very concerned with the purity of the game system. Some people might call that being a rules lawyering asshole. I would rather say concerned with the purity of the system.
That sounds rigid.
You're a rules purist.
Not a fascist, but a traditionalist.
And I consciously try to stay quiet right now as much as possible, even when I'm at someone's table and they're like, well, I'm not sure exactly how that works, but I'm going to rule in this way. And I'm thinking in my little head, like the monkey is clapping the symbols, like I know exactly how the rule works, but I'm going to be very quiet because I don't want to be that guy. And I recognize I used to be that kind of person.
I actually like when I get players that tell me that kind of stuff, but it depends on the moment, because if in the same scenario, right, if I'm the one saying, I don't know what this rule would work like, so I'm just going to make a decision, and you as the player come and tell me, oh, I actually do know this, if it matters, this is it, but then you kind of serve it on a plate, and then it's my option whether I take the official rule or go with my own opinion, that's fine. The only problem is when either I don't know and want to make a ruling, or I know one rule, you know one rule, or I specifically want to not use the official rules, and then one of the players is arguing against that. That's the moment when it becomes a little bit of a red flag, because the game itself says that the DM is supposed to be the arbiter.
Exactly.
And the rules are a suggestion, but you don't actually have to take them into play.
Well, the thing that for me kind of transitioned me a bit out of this concern for the purity of the game, like heavy, like if I had 4 hands, I would be are things like, let's say, for instance, that there's an encounter and some monster with a tentacle like pulls you, and DM says like, okay, it pulled you, and there was this other guy next to it, and now it gets an attack of opportunity because you moved. And in my head I'm like, no, but that's forced movement. It only attack of opportunity is only on voluntary movement of the player. Like if he's pushed or pulled or whatever, attack of opportunity doesn't trigger. And realizing that, well, it doesn't really matter if the scene plays out that accurately or not, because let's imagine that the scene is happening in reality. Like, it would be totally credible that adversary sees you being pulled and takes that opportunity to attack you, even if the rules specify it differently. So just hold your peace and accept that the story is far more important than whether something mechanically accurate takes place or not. That was how I came to peace with it, in case there are some rules lawyers at home listening into this conversation right now.
Andrei, cringe moments from your DM past.
Oh, I'm blanking. I'm blanking, to be perfectly honest. It's like maybe I'll answer it like this. Like I can't really DM a good romance between players or between NPCs and players. Like I'm totally like incapable of doing a fake romantic kind of. I approach you as a sexy stud, and I'm just like cringe.
Cthulhu's tentacles form a heart in front of his face.
Yeah, I'm also not love and romance scenes can be a bit complicated because I don't always know where this is going, right? So I mean, we might let's start role playing it. Let's see where it gets us.
I usually chicken out, and I'm going, and then you transition to the bedroom, and we fade to black. So I do it like a cinematic fade to black. Everyone understands what happens next, and like I don't have to narrate it.
I mean, that's perfectly fine though.
Guys, any cringe moments from your beginnings?
I sang on a live stream.
Oh, yes. Me too.
Yeah, you were there.
That's not cringe. That was the song of autumn.
Yes.
We sang "Wake Me Up When September Ends,"
and then we promised
live.
to never do it again.
To the great old wise toad.
Yes.
Funnily enough,
I made my players so I ran a mini campaign where I flipped the good guys on its head a little bit. So to keep the story short, my players ended up in a sort of a matrix situation. So they needed to destroy the matrix to get out of the matrix. So for that, they needed to find a evil book of rituals and destroy all the world. So the players ended up being the cultists that are running an end of the world spell. And I made them sit around the table and chant the spell together in unison. Mm-hmm. So they were like kind of doing nonsense Latin chanting, trying to destroy the campaign world.
Ooh.
Did you make them hold hands as well?
Yes, of course. It's only way to chant in a circle.
Guys, if you're watching us online, we'll be wrapping the podcast up soon. So if there are any questions or comments from you to the panel, we will gladly answer them. In the meanwhile, guys, anything else you want to discuss? Have we covered the DM burnout properly, or there's something else on your mind, Rene?
when regarding burnout, if you have perfectionism, suppress it. It's never work.
Yes, it'll never work. Because if you don't, you won't achieve great things.
Yes, so just suppress it.
Go with the flow, yeah.
Yeah, you're only like 20% of the story, right? There's no, but seriously.
No,
So, in conclusion to the burnout topic, right? Burnouts are common in DMs, right? It's kind of the way the architecture of the system burns the DM out. Right,
it's the passion of the person. So if you're passionate about anything, you're kind of investing yourself, and then you're in danger of burnout as is.
I will say being a player in campaigns helps. Like, I think I've been inspired by all of you at one point or another. I very distinctly even remember Andrei's French policeman. Like, oh, yes, I'm very French. Because I think I stole that voice completely. I made it into my own French voice.
Excellent.
But also regarding the burnout aspect, you can also burn yourself out as a DM a lot more than you would think. And I learned that the hard way. Out of 3 campaigns that I have been running, 2 are ongoing. One of them fizzled out after like 7 or 8 sessions. It was supposed to be a campaign at work to basically present the tabletop RPG to my work colleagues. Mm-hmm. And initially it was supposed to be like, oh, I'm gonna post it and see who joins. Maybe there's gonna be 3 or 4 players. And then there was more and more interest, and then I was like, okay, now I have 12 players that are interested. So we're gonna do it in such a way that I'm gonna post the date for the game, and whoever can come, as long as I have at least 5 players, it's fine. And if I have 6 players, then that's too much. And I poured a lot into it. I worked really hard for that campaign, and I was severely disappointed because essentially what happened is that because of the open format of the table, nobody felt that they need to be there. So, I had a pool of 12 players that were interested. They enjoyed it. They liked the game. They came to the table and, went into their characters and everything was fine. But all of them felt that their being there was optional. So in the end, I think after like 3 months of trying to schedule, I didn't get even one time more than 3 responses. And it wasn't a scheduling issue. Most of the people had the time, but they were just like, oh, someone else is going to fill the spot. I don't have to be there. So then I closed the campaign, I restarted it. And that's the campaign that I have right now with 6 players. That was supposed to be a test short campaign, but all of them want a long campaign. But at least I can see that they're invested. So, as a DM, you have to make sure that you pay attention to yourself as well. And don't invest yourself too much initially. And I think that's something that you have done as well with the reason that you have burned out as well. Because you're saying the same thing, that you have put a lot of effort into it. And then when it wasn't met with a similar amount of enthusiasm, then you kind of hit rock bottom. So maybe you should try to start a little bit easier, build up a little bit of courage, and get some enthusiasm from players, and then go into larger and larger scale.
Oh yeah, as context for the second burnout, I was literally in the process of making my own system. That's why it also went like a little like, I am tired.
It reminds me of the previous podcast that you guys did about Anton talking about the lazy dungeon master thing. Is an easy mistake for new DMs is investing a lot of your time in a big story. Instead, like, do little chunks, do little bits, and try to improvise from there, sort of thing. A little bit easier on your mental state.
Oh yeah, with the mouse reader thing, I literally spent 30 minutes on it, and I refuse to do any more.
You also have the brochures, right, or whatever.
I gave them back today, but I have pictures of them. And I don't know. I have a habit of I have to come up with my own thing. I can't use pre-written.
Well, I understand how that is.
It's not that difficult. You just need some prompts.
In the chat, Sneaky Joe is saying, don't invest yourself too much, period. Applicable to any burnout. Well, I have a community to run, right? And I have my pro games, and I have a YouTube channel, right? How do I don't invest myself too much? Right, it's for you guys.
No, there's a balance. You just kind of need to know your own limits, sort of thing, and you can't really know them without pushing your limits at some point. So you're in danger of crossing that line as is. You just need to know. Eventually, you need to find out where your line is.
Check the things that are giving you returns and focus on those. Drop the rest.
I mean, like we're doing with the stream, where you try different things and you're trying to figure out which one of them has more engagement and you enjoy more and we enjoy more. And then you put all of those together and then find the ideal podcast, apparently.
Sneaky Joe says, you invest, just not to harm yourself. He knows the deal. All right, guys, anything else you want to talk about? The last time we briefly touched upon Dragonlance and the new campaign D&D has announced lately, Dark Sun. It's called, I believe. Do you know anything about Dark Sun, Andrei?
Yeah, I know Dark Sun.
Tell us more.
It's for some reason it's the campaign that they didn't want to touch for a long while. Probably like this Dark Sun is also like an executive decision of okay, we've done everything else, let's do Dark Sun now, because the olden Dark Sun is very cruel. Like my favorite bit about the old Dark Sun is that elves in Dark Sun, being like these tree lover kind of nature loving pacifist sort of thing, since like Dark Sun elves are since they love nature and plants so much, they only eat human meat. Because it doesn't harm nature to eat.
Hippies.
Yeah.
That's like some reverse veganism.
Yeah.
where-
Makes sense to me.
Yeah, exactly. So like it kind of, when you think about they love the nature so much, they are only meat eaters. So like keto diet is it called? Which is hilarious. And a lot of like there's like a lot of cruelty and man-max kind of things going on. But like I've bought the Planescape new edition thing. And compared to the old Planescape, it's just like a bare skeleton of nothingness, which is very disappointing because like Planescape for me was like a very thick, interesting setting. And the new Planescape, it's just like bare bones of bare bones. And I think the new Dark Sun will probably be something like that.
So you think Wizards of the Coast are going to enshitify their good old campaign, or what's it called nowadays?
Yeah, probably. Like it's I don't trust them in doing due diligence with it.
Yes, me neither.
But
I haven't seen a good book from Wizards of the Coast in years.
But I want to say, like, I found that the the Curse of Strahd, the latest edition, is very enjoyable.
I'll look into that.
No, I mean not the new book. I mean like the one that was made by Chris Perkins.
Okay.
The one that everyone's running. I think it's probably like from what I've heard, like you run it a lot and you love it.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, I think that's one of the best campaigns that they did.
Anything else you guys want to talk about, or shall we call it a night?
I actually had a question since you brought it up. Why is Curse of Strahd so popular? Because everybody is running it.
Because it's not D&D.
And I remember like but okay. So the first time I actually was looking for someone to run a campaign, like an official campaign from published materials. I really wanted to find someone who was running Descent into Avernus. Like I was so intrigued by the City of Brass and all the devilish deals and it. Like, and this was like, I don't know, maybe 5 years or 6 years before Baldur's Gate was a thing. So it's absolutely unrelated to that. And everybody was everywhere, just Curse of Strahd, Curse of Strahd, Curse of Strahd.
And still is.
And still is today. So why? Why this one specifically?
Yeah, Mel also wants to know, and without spoilers, preferably. So let me try it. I think Curse of Strahd, first of all, has an epic villain. And it's a very villain-centric campaign. Like it's not, it is about the characters, but yet it's more about the villain, kind of having the characters trapped, like where he lives as like little mice, and now he plays around with them. So that's one. And I also think that Barovia, the land, the domain where the campaign takes place, is relatively small, right? So although the map can look big on the table, the distances between like location A and location B are very short.
Yeah.
So you don't waste time on traveling, but you get to see a lot of awesome, like well thought through locations. So I maybe these two are my keys to Curse of Strahd.
But Avernus is basically the same. You have the archdeviless angel lady, and you have the short distances because like you decide the distances.
And you get some sort of vehicles or something in there.
Mad Maxi,
if I understood correctly, to make the long distances short. I don't know. I mean,
I think the charm of Curse of Strahd is in the romanticism.
Oh yes. The no spoilers here.
No. I mean not lovey-dovey romanticism. I mean the
horror you mentioned.
The gothic
at the start.
horror romanticism.
I mean, that could be told just by the cover itself, so I don't think that's much of a spoiler.
Sneaky Joe is asking, why is Dracula so popular? As far as I know of psychoanalysis, I know there's a deep sexual desire hidden underneath the popularity of vampires, werewolves, and so on.
It's the fluid exchange.
Yes. women say they want like this kind of man or that kind of man, but who they actually want is a Dracula, a werewolf, and something else. So it's weird. We need to summon Freud's spirit here at the table.
I need
Hairy and
somebody
smelly
to
is
suck
the
me
way.
dry.
Oh, and the soul says about Curse of Strahd, BBEG is present from the start, annoying players. True. Yeah, I
It's very
always...
personal then.
But
Yes.
isn't that the same for? Like I said, I haven't played Descent, but isn't that the same in Descent? There's also like a very present antagonist that's like in the cover, and it's all about. It's a she, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I mean.
I mean, the only point of reference that I can have is Dragon of Ice Spire Peak, which is the only actual module that I have ever run, and I'm still running. But hearing you talk about other campaigns, it does sort of feel that the BBG of this campaign is not really someone that can be intertwined with the fates of the rest of the people.
Oh,
because
it
it's like
can.
just a different
It can.
being. Like, you know, it's not something that's social. It's more of an apex predator that you're trying to deal with.
You mean
Then
in
again, maybe
Curse of
other
Strahd, you mean?
DMs.
Are you talking
I
about
mean, Dragon of Ice Spire Peak.
Ah, okay.
You're trying to compare Dragon with Strahd.
Yeah, exactly. Because
Spoilers,
it
he's a
doesn't have,
vampire.
No.
it doesn't have the same.
No way.
It doesn't have the same type of personal touch, because it's like, how can I make a dragon?
Yeah, it's just animal instincts, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
can't
yeah.
really make it kind of like play with your characters except hunting or anything like that.
A dragon? I mean, dragons are
Intelligent.
quite intelligent and cerebral. Well, that's the same thing. They're quite intelligent, and some of them are even quite social in the Dungeons and Dragons settings. I mean, they polymorph into humans. They meld with the people. They are scheming, and depending on whether they are chromatic or metallic, they might be on the side of good and want to help people, or they might be just scheming to bring down empires. They are actually quite charismatic monsters.
So it's also really a DM issue that I need to read up a little bit more on dragons.
No, I mean, Anton is here. Like, sorry, Andre, I'm meeting you tonight, so I don't know what your repertoire is when it comes to lore. But Anton is here, and he can probably, comment on this assertion I just made regarding dragons. But that's my understanding, that they are very, very
Intelligent. Yeah.
charismatic and full of lore, basically. Like they are very rich.
Juveniles are usually like animalistic, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. Juvenile dragons, they tend to
like
be more animalistic.
wyverns or something, sure. But once you get to like an adult dragon who's lived hundreds of years,
There's a reason they live that long.
they tend to be like
They got their reason. If you know what I mean. All right, guys, I think let's call it a night. Maybe some last words from the panel here, Adrian.
I don't think I have anything to add at this moment, no. I think this podcast was very educational and actually managed to touch on the subjects we wanted to discuss.
Yeah.
At least for a quarter. We'll see next time.
Happy to hear that, René.
I've called myself out about not posting the mouse reader thing. Now I have to. So
Now you have to.
Yeah, now I have
Do
to.
it.
I'm
do it.
legally
peer pressure.
Peer pressure.
Do
Yeah, I'm
it.
legally obligated now. But yeah, I got nothing else to add. I'm not
But
dancing
you
this
said
time.
on the live stream, you said you're gonna do that.
record.
Hey, you brought that down on yourself. I think that was a conscious decision.
I have to do these things, otherwise, once you get your foot in the door, then it's fine. But like posting that first post, it's just like, ugh. But like once you do it, it's fine.
Luis.
I've spoke too much already.
Andre,
What do you mean
thank you
too
so much for joining us
Thank you
tonight.
for inviting me, guys. If I'm gonna leave you off with something, is I'll encourage you guys to try different stuff. Don't think that D&D is the only game.
Yes.
Maybe there's something else more interested for you, and you just
Yes.
haven't tried it.
I like the complexity.
Yes, and I encourage you guys to DM more, please. The more DMs run games, the more players get to play D&D. So please, help people explore this wonderful hobby that we all have and share.
Dungeon Masters want to play as well. I have been waiting to be a player for a long time.
Guys, if you watched us online, thank you very much for your time. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel. We'll see you at the next podcast. And once again, thank you for. We loved having you at the table tonight. Please come watch us again. All right, cheers. Thank
Bye.
you.
See ya. Now let's all sing that song again that we promised.
Wake me up.